38 hours. The forest was no friend. Roots twisted under the fallen leaves like lazy traps. Smoke still hung in the air from the blast hours earlier, hovering low in the cold air. Somewhere behind them, a distant drone of emergency crafts buzzed over the hills. No telling if they were rescue or recon. No telling if they were theirs. Riven adjusted his grip as he stepped over a fallen branch, keeping Alice steady on his back.
"You're not dead, are you?"
He muttered.
"Not yet,"
came the small voice behind his ear. Tired, hoarse, but steady.
"So, who's the lucky guy?"
He asked.
"What's the name again? Ander. The is who convinced the city girl to go solo camping."
"Xander."
She prompted. He shrugged.
"Same difference."
"And I'm not a city girl."
She huffed.
"Sure, keep telling yourself that."
He muttered. There was a pause.
"How do you know anyway?"
Riven chuckled.
"Hello. White shirt, beige pants combo. Your boots are clean. And you jumped every time a bug landed on you."
He ducked under a low branch, careful not to jostle her too much.
"Oh, and you tried to pitch your tent at the bottom of a hill."
Another pause.
"Xander said that was his secret spot."
She whispered.
"Now you can tell Xander to suck it."
She made a grumpy noise, but he could feel her settle against him a little more, her forehead resting lightly against the side of his neck.
"You're kind of a jerk, you know that?"
"I've been called worse,"
he said, adjusting his grip again.
"Usually by people less lost in the woods."
Alice didn't respond. Just let her head rest there, letting the steady rhythm of his steps carry her, annoyingly comforting. Xander had invited her on this trip. She packed like she was prepping for the apocalypse, studied the trail maps, practiced setting up her tent in her dorm room. She'd done everything right, on paper, but none of it had mattered once the world flipped on its head. The illusion had shattered somewhere between the first explosion and the second. Xander hadn't prepared her for this. Maybe he hadn't really cared whether she was prepared at all, and that stung more than the gash on her arm. She exhaled shakily. Next time, no borrowed plans. No charming smiles or half-baked promises. No waiting for someone else to define her courage. Next time, if there was a next time, she'd go because she wanted to, not because some pretty boy said it'd be good for her soul. Her forehead bumped gently against Riven's shoulder as he shifted again. She didn't move.
"You doing okay?"
He asked after a while.
"I'm hanging on."
She whispered.
"My ankle still hurts."
"It's supposed to. Sprains are assholes."
He slowed as the terrain sloped downward again.
"Let me know if you feel like throwing up, not in the mood for a surprise shoulder baptism."
A snort against his neck.
"You're very comforting."
"Yeah, I get that a lot."
She went quiet again. He glanced over his shoulder. Her head was slumped forward now, breath warm against his skin. Fast asleep.
"Great,"
he muttered, adjusting his hold under her legs. He walked even slower now, not because he was tired. Or because the terrain was a nightmare. It was. But because, waking her meant more tears and more talking. That was it, just preserving the quiet. Not because her breathing had evened out into something peaceful. Not because the burned-out forest felt less hostile with someone asleep on his back. Not because her weight felt oddly grounding after the chaos. Just enjoying the silence. After another 10 minutes of careful weaving through half-fallen trees and smoke-washed underbrush, Riven spotted a shallow alcove where a massive root system had torn loose from the soil. It formed a natural lean-to, sheltered from above. It wasn't perfect, but it was dry and out of the wind.
"Good enough,"
he muttered. He crouched slowly, careful not to wake her, and eased her off his back. She stirred, but didn't wake. He laid her gently against the base of the tree and checked her ankle. Still swollen, but no worse. Shrugging off his rucksack, he flattened it and slid it beneath her head like a makeshift pillow. Then he frowned at her jacket. Too thin. He pulled off his own and draped it over her shoulders, tucking it in around her sides. Straightening, he rolled his neck with a low grunt and scanned the forest. Smoke still clung low to the ground. His cum was still dead. No sign of Cal, no sign of Cain. He rubbed a hand down his face. The smoke stung his eyes. His shoulders burned. He'd slowed more than he wanted to admit.
This was supposed to be a simple evac.
He said to no one. Then he leaned back against a half-scorched tree, one eye on the sleeping girl, the other on the shifting shadows. He swiped at the comms panel along his helmet's jawline, toggling through channels. Just static again. Of course. He hadn't fixed it after that last drill, when the helmet slammed against a tree root mid-roll and knocked something loose. He'd known the signal was fuzzy, known it was glitching, but the thought of enduring another one of Kane's smug lectures on equipment integrity had been too much. And now, predictably, he was paying for it. With a civilian on his back and radio silence in every direction.
Real smooth.
He muttered, killing the cum with a flick of his fingers. Alice whimpered in her sleep. He leaned forward on instinct, eyes scanning for anything with teeth or venom. Nothing, just restless dreams. He relaxed a little, eyes still sweeping the dark. Idly, he rubbed his thumb along the side of his forefinger. Above them, the stars burned sharp and far away. 3:12 hours. Time crawled. Then, finally, Alice stirred. Riven got to his feet and stepped toward her.
Ellis.
He said. She shifted, brow furrowed, lips trembling before her eyes fluttered open. Disoriented, heavy with sleep and pain.
Ellis.
He said again, quieter this time. Alice blinked up at him, then winced.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He said, crouching beside her.
Still in the woods. Still banged up. Still stuck with me. Sorry.
She wiped at her face, then looked down at the unfamiliar jacket. She took it off and handed it back to him. Riven shook his head.
Keep it. Night's cold.
Thanks.
She rasped, sliding her arms back through the sleeves with a shiver.
How long was I out?
Little over an hour.
He glanced up the sky. The stars had started to fade.
Long enough for me to get bored counting tree stumps.
She made a small, miserable sound.
I didn't mean to fall asleep.
He shrugged.
Could have fooled me with all the snoring.
Her eyes widened in horror.
I snored?
He almost smirked. Almost.
I'm kidding. Mostly.
Alice groaned again and sat up, slow and stiff, her face tight with pain. Riven studied her without needing to be asked.
You shouldn't have carried me this far.
She muttered.
You're gonna wreck your back.
Appreciate the concern, but I'll live.
He said.
We've got a lot of ground left and still no comms.
He watched her sway slightly.
You good to keep going, or am I throwing you over my shoulder this time?
I need to pee first.
Riven raised an eyebrow, then jerked his thumb toward a sparse clump of trees.
Be my guest. I'll keep an eye out for wild piss bandits.
She limped off, and he turned his back respectfully, mostly to relieve himself too, rucksack by his feet. Halfway through shaking off, he heard it. A faint metallic buzzing, almost like a wasp if wasps had targeting systems and murder budgets. His head snapped up.
Shit.
He yanked his pants up and bolted.
Ellis, down.
She barely had time to turn before he crashed into her, driving them both into the underbrush. The first shot ripped overhead, cutting a hole in the air. The second clipped a tree behind them with a spark and a thunk.
Get low. Move.
Riven barked, shielding her body.
Crawl. Now.
He didn't know what was ahead, could barely see through the dark and smoke, but anything beat staying out in the open. Maybe a ditch, a hollow, hell, even a rock. Alice grabbed at anything, grass, fallen branches, fingers digging into the dirt to drag herself forward, her feet slipping in the wet.
Dig your elbows in.
Riven shouted.
Elbow, elbow, toe. That's it.
She whimpered. The buzzing grew louder.
Head down. Keep moving.
He said, glancing back. The drone zipped past again. A shot cracked past, slicing into the brush just to their right. Then the ground dropped out beneath them.
Wait.
Riven started, but too late. They tumbled hard into a trench, crashing through dead leaves and debris. Alice yelped as they landed in a tangled heap.